everybody, to the June 14th Father, Son, and Holy Sport NFL show. I'm G-Man. There's T-Money from Cincinnati. What's up?
What's going on, G-Man? And getting a little spicy this offseason, getting some interesting plot lines, some new teams, coming into the fold here. So it's going to be an interesting offseason as we start ramping up into the fall here. We got some interesting topics here.
Hey, hold on one second. Your mic is kind of going in and out when you were moving around.
It was?
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but it's kind
right
of
now
echoey.
It's going in and out right now.
Right now it's fine. You were kind of moving around a little bit though
when I was doing this.
Well, no, you kind of backed up like that. Your face backed away, and then you came back, and it wasn't like staying constant.
All right, stop talking. I'm going to test my mic here. All right, yeah. So we got a lot of interesting topics to talk about here, and we'll see what happens when
you back off. Yeah, it flips. It kind of breaks up a little bit.
So it looks like I got to stay close.
Stay close for now until you figure that out.
All right, you're the boss.
All right, hey, let's go again. Are you ready?
Let's try this again. Sorry, thanks for pointing that out.
Okay.
5, 4.
Hey, welcome everybody. June 14th, do you believe it? The Father, Son, and Holy Sport NFL show coming at you. I'm G-Man. There's T-Money. Cincinnati's, man. How you doing, T?
Hey, what's going on, man? We're getting through these mini camps and training camps and all these teams getting together. So starting to get some interesting storylines this summer as everyone's ramping up to start the season.
Yeah, good point. No more free agency, no more NFL draft. That's behind us. And we got through the OTAs. Does everybody know what OTAs stand for? It's an often used word, but it's the voluntary organized team activities, everybody. And those are done. And now we go to the mandatory, not the voluntary team money. And we got some guys not showing up at the mandatory minicamps.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see how this all unfolds.
Yeah. We got the schedules out. We're within 100 days of the first NFL game, team money. Detroit at Kansas City, 8:20 p.m. on Thursday, September 7th. Locked in for the first opener of the year.
All right, let's see if Detroit can go to that hectic place there, Arrowhead, and steal one from Kansas City.
That would be good. But hey, y'all, do us a favor. Press a like and subscribe. We appreciate your support. We're wearing all the gear for you, man. Check out our website. T-Money's got the hat. I got the shirt. We got all kinds of new gear for you at our website, FatherSonAndHolySport.com. Let's go into the NFL rundown here, Team Money. Let's talk about the Vikings. The Vikings look for a trade partner for Dalvin Cook. They can't get it, and so they let him go. Where does he go now? Where does Dalvin Cook go?
Well, where does he go and where should he go might be two different things. It's going to be interesting here. He's been linked to Miami for, I believe, since before the draft. They've been trying to trade for him. I think he'd be a good spot there. He doesn't have to take on all the workload, even though as a fantasy owner of him, I would love for him to do so. He's in Mike Shanahan's system down there with Mike McDaniel. So that means it's a very run-heavy scheme offense. They know how to get running backs in the open, and he'll have success there. So I do like the fit there, especially with Tyreek and Waddle on the outside, kind of taking a little bit of they can't load up the box there as well. So I think he'll have a lot of home run hits. So I think Miami's the best fit out of anyone available. There's talks of Dallas and, some other teams. But, I like Chicago. There's definitely some interesting teams on the table. Someone like the Cincinnati Bengals. I would love that if they cut Mixon and sign Dalvin for maybe half the price, just because of how the cap works and everything, the cap hits of Mixon versus Dalvin. I think the Bengals would be a phenomenal fit. But I think he will sign with Miami. I think he should sign with Miami. But, hey, no one's talking about the Bengals. I would legit put them second. That's not just a homer in me. That's a good business move by the Bengals.
Yeah. Well, he made $12 million last year with the Vikings. They didn't want to give him that. He said he's not taking $5 million. we know that, Saquon and Jacobs, two other guys that are kind of out there holding out, they're around 10 million. Where do you think he comes in here in terms of pay? I mean, someone's going to give him somewhere between 5 and 10 million.
Yeah, I was going to say about 7. My guess is that he
Okay.
gets about 7 million. You got Saquon, Jacobs, and Pollard all on the tag. So that'll be interesting. I think another good place would be the Cardinals. I think he could be the RB1 there. But I think he wants to go win. And I think that's what he's got to decide. Does he want to win? Does he want to make some money? It's going to be interesting. He's 27. He's still relatively young, even though he seems like he has a lot of miles on him. He's relatively young. Running backs usually don't hit that cliff until about 30. So I think he's got a lot left in him. I think it's going to end Miami. All signs are pointing towards that. But Bengals, I'm dead serious about this. That would be a great,
Yeah.
great move. Mixon's kind of boom or bust last year. He had, his averages look great because he had one 40-point game. But other than that, he wasn't that impressive. So I'm not sold on Mixon. I think you could get rid of him. I think he's a $14-15 million cap hit. You can get Dalvin for half that, and I think he's a better running back. So that's what I would do. I would love to see Dalvin on the Bengals. I think it would be a great move for both parties.
Yeah, I like that too. I think you and I talked about that. So that I like that too. And who can, I want to before we talk about, where he goes, one more question on Minnesota. I thought he had 3 years left on his deal with the Vikings. And how did they get out of that contract?
So I agree. I'm shocked they let him go. They seem like a win now party. I like Alexander Madison, but I don't know if he's like this elite 3-down back that their coach is claiming he is. Now, he might be great for fantasy, but I think everyone knows the real reason is because they're about to pay Justin Jefferson a boatload of money. And that's what they
Oh,
literally need the money for that. So that's
okay.
really where they're trying to just save money right now because they're going to give Justin Jefferson the biggest wide receiver contract in NFL history.
Yeah. That could be. That could be. I was just looking at the odds here for the Vikings. Detroit's favored to win the NFC North, Vikings second, and
Yeah.
then the Bears and the Packers. So that's crazy. But Vikings in a dogfight there. They won kind of easily last year in that division. But man, I'll let them go Dalvin Cook. That's going to hurt them. That's going to
Yeah.
hurt them. And that's probably why the Lions made some moves. That's probably why they are the favorite to win that division.
Yep. Going to be interesting. Well, let's move on to a different running back who has not been released but tagged. Saquon Barkley is under the franchise tag and threatening to hold out. Seems a little upset he hasn't got a long-term deal as a big part of that offense. What do you think? Should the Giants sign Saquon Barkley long-term?
Well, I don't know what you mean by long term, but should they sign him to 2 or 3 years? Yes. Do you mean long term is 2 or 3 years or something
Yeah,
longer than that?
whatever you interpret as.
Yeah, I'm thinking 2 or 3 years. Give him 2 or 3 years. This guy is coming off of that surgery and played well last year, one of the best in the NFL last year. Let's keep him there, man. Let's keep the party going. Look at the
Yeah.
Giants, man. I got all the gear on today. I got the background here for you. Come on, Giants. Keep Saquon in the fold. We're going to get this done. He was second in overall touches in the NFL and backfield share. You get 80% of the touches in that backfield behind only Josh Jacobs. He was ahead of everyone else in terms of
Yeah.
touches. They leaned on him. He came through. He showed that he's back from that surgery, and he was one of the best in the NFL last year. So let's get this done, man. He's 26. Give him a 2-3 year deal.
Yep, that's what I was going to say. The dude's only 26 years old, right? Like, that's impressive. He's got a lot of great running in him. And so I think the biggest thing here is he's been such a good sport. He's been the face of your franchise, and
Yeah.
he is really the focal point of your offense. He was tied for the lead in receptions on the team last year. So they
Yeah.
don't have any other weapons anywhere. That's the biggest thing. It's not like it's, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle on the outside and having Dalvin Cook is a luxury. It's He's your entire offense.
That's
So
right.
I think they did this thing completely backwards. They should have franchise tagged Daniel Jones. They should have given Saquon a long-term deal. even Saquon said he's not looking to reset the running back market. I'd give him $12 million a year for 3 years with $25 million guaranteed. Something like that. Give him a bigger guarantee.
Good.
Meet in the middle, man. Don't upset this guy. He is the face of your franchise. He's done nothing but help.
And he's a freak. The guy is a freak.
Yeah.
So he's someone you want to go out and limb for. He's in the top 3 running backs in the NFL. Go out a little bit further for this guy that's been dedicated to your franchise. This guy stuck with you, Giants. He stuck with you. And he and Daniel Jones last year on the sidelines, I remember them in the playoffs, winning those playoff games. They were so excited, those two leaders of this team, and they can keep this together. But I'll give you a stat in the other direction, arguing the other way, T-Money. I bet you don't know this exact stat, but do you know that no Super Bowl champion over the past 14 years has had a $2.6 million running back? And they've not paid over 2.6 for their lead running back. So this whole thing with Kansas City, their lead running back last year was Isaiah Pacheco. He didn't even make $1 million. And Chiefs win the title. The year before that, it was the Rams. Cam Akers was their top running back. He made less than $1 million. And the year before that was Fournette. He made $2 million. No one has made more than $2.6 million in the last 14 years as running back and won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And I understand that. I think where they are is they know they're not a Super Bowl contender, right? And I think teams have to be realistic with themselves. They're not Super Bowl contenders. They're just trying to contend for their division, grow Daniel Jones. I think they signed Daniel Jones long term. So they must see something in him that in 3 or 4 years, this dude could be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And if that's true, then in 3 or 4 years, you're not paying a running back like Saquon Barkley that much. He will be at the end of his contract, and now you go get a good rookie running back, and you do this thing right. But I think right now you need to support your young startup quarterbacks, and that's why you go out and you get these awesome guys like Austin Eckler for Justin Herbert and Joe Mixon you pay for Joe Burrow. These guys need that kind of steady reliability, elite running back help when they're younger. And so that's why I think you do this. Not that they're Super Bowl contenders, that they're just trying to be playoff contenders. And that's fine too. Not every team is in that position with what their quarterback situation is.
Saquon Barkley, 1,300 yards rushing last season, 330 yards passing. He just says, I'm not looking to set any contract records. I'm not demanding to be the highest paid record. Pay his highest paid running back, even though he was 4th in the NFL in those stats. He just wants to have a successful team and win some games, and he wants to be part of that. So, hey, man, let's get this done, y'all. I'm going to shift gears here. Team Money going to the wide receiver room. Okay, and a guy that you may want to have in your wide receiver room, NFL teams, called D-Hop, DeAndre Hopkins. He's been going around, Team Money. It looks like maybe something going on with the Patriots. What do you think? Are the Patriots a good spot for him?
No, absolutely not. I'm a little concerned about what DeAndre Hopkins' goal is here. And it looks like to me it's to make as most money as possible. And I'm not going to fault anyone for wanting to go.
A lot of guys do that.
Money, okay? I understand. But this guy's already been able to reset the wide receiver market once. He's gotten the biggest contract ever. He's made over $111 million in the league. So it's not like he's strapped for cash here. And at this point, he's been on bad team after bad team at Houston and the Cardinals. Why does this guy not want to go to Kansas City for $5 million? Look what just happened with Juju. He went on an incentive-laden deal and ended up getting another long-term contract with the Patriots after he won a Super Bowl. The Kansas City Chiefs are wide open. Their wide receiver room consists of Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney. You will immediately be the 1,000-yard receiver in the room. You will make every incentive as long as you stay healthy. Why would you not go to Kansas City? Why would you not go to Cleveland and want to work with DeAndre or start Deshaun Watson, who you've already worked with, who could have a really good season this year? Why would you not want to go to the Bills and try to help win a Super Bowl and be the reason they get over the hump? There's so many reasons to go to a contender. This guy seems set on going to make the most money. And that's why the two top teams right now are the Titans and the Patriots. Have fun with those two offensive DeAndre Hopkins. My gosh.
Yeah,
Ryan
yeah, good.
Tannehill and Mac Jones throwing the ball. Have fun. That's going to be your last big contract. Enjoy.
Yeah, yeah, he's. I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm with you there. The only other team mentioned before that I like even better than Kansas City is the Chargers, and the idea of going to help them get a ring. Of course, Kansas City has plenty of rings. You can go in there and get your ring, D-Hop. But do you want to help somebody get a ring? Go to the Chargers, man. Mike Williams and Keenan Allen are injured all the time. You can go in there and contribute and help that team. I like him on the Chargers, especially with that injury history with their other receivers. And
Yeah.
he's an expensive guy. I mean, $27 million was the average salary for him per year. That's third highest in the NFL. So, I don't think he's getting anything close to that.
Yeah, no, he's not getting anything close to that. And that's what's crazy here is it sounds like at most he gets $15 million a year, right? At most. That's what Odell got. I think what the rumors are is he wants what Odell got.
Okay.
And Kansas City is going to pay you 8 million, 9 million if you hit your incentives. Are you really going to go somewhere like the Patriots because of $6 million? And again, I know we're talking millions and millions of dollars here. We don't understand the differences here, but he's made so much money in his career that does the guy not want to win? Like, is $6 million out of 120 million that you'll make in your career up to the next contract? Is that worth to you? So that's where my head's at. Just an odd situation with a guy who last year everyone would have said is a top 2 wide receiver in the league. So weird situation.
Yeah. Well, I wish him best. I love watching him play. I love his passion. And
Yeah.
I want to see him playing hard again this year. Starting with that first game, man. Let's get something done with D-Hop, everybody.
Yep, let's do it. Well, let's move on to another team here. Maybe they could sign DeAndre Hopkins. That would be the Detroit Lions. They've done a lot of stuff in the offseason. Like you mentioned earlier in the show, they're favored to win their division. Expectations for these Lions this year, Jimmy?
Well, like you just said, they're favored to win the division. How about that, man? They started last year 1-6. They won 3 straight, beat the Packers. They then won 5 of their final 6 games to end the year, and they just missed the playoffs.
Yep.
So they had a nice stretch there at the end of the season. End up 9-8. The Vikings were 13-4. Vikings are coming back to the pack. This is the tightest, let's call it very close to the tightest division in football. The NFC North, odds to win the NFC North, the Lions plus 130. The Packers are last at plus 500. That's quite a tight gap there with the Vikings and Bears. Bears favored ahead of the Packers to win that division. The only the closer other division is the AFC North with the Bengals and the Steelers and the Ravens and the Browns. Those guys, those are the 2 toughest divisions from top to bottom. And so these guys are in the mix, is my point. The Lions have a great shot at winning this division, and who knows what happens after you win the division. They have a great shot at win this division.
Hey, you win the division, you get to host a playoff game. That's going to be impressive. You're probably going to be, in the NFC where it's not as deep as the AFC. Like, you could win a playoff game. And at this point, I'm trending in that direction. That's my new expectation. I expect them to win the division. I would be shocked, honestly, if they didn't. And then I expect them to win a playoff game if you win that division and host one in the NFC. Who are you going to be playing? The Giants? You can't be the Giants at home. That's what my thing is right now is I think that they could win this division. I really do. Yeah. And I expect them to. And that's where my expectations. So, yes, do I have big expectations? I'm not talking Super Bowl here. But for the Lions, they have the longest playoff win drought in NFL right now. They haven't won in like 30 years in the playoffs. So these guys need a playoff win. So that's big expectations for them as a franchise, NFL average, not really, but I expect them to win a playoff game this year. That's the
Hey,
kind of expectations I have.
first 6 games, they could win 4 of these 6 games. And they open up with the Chiefs, as we said earlier. That's the first game out of the gates in the NFL at the Chiefs on the 7th of September. After that, they got the Seahawks. They could win that. The Falcons, they could win that. The Packers, they could win that. The Panthers, and then the Bucks. Those teams, they could go 4-2 right there.
Yeah, easily. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. I wasn't a fan of what they did in the draft. I think that they missed on a golden opportunity with 2 top 15 picks. I thought that they made bad decisions. But luckily, I liked their team to begin with before the draft. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do this year. I'm happy for that's another lowly franchise. I'm happy for Lions fans. Good for them up in Detroit. There's some happiness and some good football for once in a long time.
And they picked up Jahmyr Gibbs, man. They got Jahmyr Gibbs out of the drafts with the second highest rated running back coming into the Lions.
Yeah, and like I said, I like him as a player. I just think 10th overall was a huge reach.
Nice ad, though. Nice ad. He's going to bring some talent. My buddy Goff, we'll see what Goff can do. Goff's broken my heart. I don't know how many times. And he's done some great things, but he also breaks hearts.
Yeah, we'll see.
Hey, man. All right, Lions, come on, man. G-Man, let's go, G-Man. Let's talk about Stefon Diggs here to kind of wrap up the NFL weekly rundown here with T-Money and I, father-son sports here, bringing it to you through the summer. All right, now let's talk last topic here. Let's talk about Stefon Diggs. He did not show up at the mandatory mini camps at Buffalo, and Sean McDermott, the coach, said he's very concerned. You don't usually hear that. What do you think, T-Money? What's going on?
Oh, man, little trouble in paradise here. Very weird reaction because his agent then came out and said he was at minicamp and that he attended the physical and that the team knows that he's there. So very, very weird. I don't know what's going on here. Josh Allen came out and said he supports him. And Stefon Diggs said, all these guys on his Instagram story said these guys are lying and they just keep lying. Like, there's clearly some sort of rift between him and the Bills, which is scary because he really seems like the entire Bills offense. They don't really have a lot of extra great skill players at the running back and wide receiver position outside of it. But I don't really care in the long run. I think Stefan's going to show up. He's been known to be a very, very, very emotional guy, but he's going to show up and do his work. So in the end, I think this is the least of the Bills' worries. They got to get through a gauntlet of an AFC this year. Their division is harder than it's been since Josh Allen got there with Aaron Rodgers and Tua and Mac Jones. I just think there's a lot more concerning issues for the Bills at this point. Redoing the roster, maybe of missing their Super Bowl windows. And Stefon Diggs is going to show up very well. I mean, yeah, he might be a diva, but most wide receivers are. So in the grand scheme of things, I am not concerned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's weird that the head coach is saying stuff and that might rot through the, locker room. I think that wasn't smart of him, but, I don't see it becoming a big thing. I think they have a lot more to worry about in the regular season and the playoffs than they do Stefon Diggs maybe wanting a new contract or being upset that they didn't win last year.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that they're going to work this out. I mean, when the coach comes out and says he's very concerned, that concerns me. And this thing might not be worked out. He has this contract extension. This is not about money.
Okay.
This is about him being unhappy with that team. And it started last year in the playoffs against the Bengals when they were losing the game. And he went and started yelling at Josh Allen on the sideline. Josh Allen was not having a great day. And it still is not repaired between the two of them, even though they're saying that. And this thing is falling apart, man. Here's a guy who left Minnesota. He was traded to the Bills in 2020. And it was a big he's averaging over 1,000 receiving yards since he's been at the Bills. It's been a big success. But now, because of the playoff challenges, I think he represents all the Buffalo fans. These Buffalo fans are frustrated. What are they going to do, Team Money? I think this is a microcosm of the whole organization, what he's feeling right here. What is Buffalo going to do? They got Cincinnati that beat them last year. They got Mahomes and Reed, and here they are behind them. Even though they're killing everybody in their division, they can't get to the top of the AFC. And I think this is starting to frustrate people. And, Diggs is just one of those people.
Well, listen, I blame people in the media. I blame Bills fans. I blame all the expectations they put on this team before they won anything. That's the problem. Every year, these guys are favorites to win the Super Bowl. Josh Allen's a favorite to win the MVP, and they don't do it because Josh Allen is a roller coaster of a quarterback. Yes, he has highlight reel moments. All right, him and Patrick Mahomes' battles in Kansas City have been legendary. But he also has horrible games where they almost lost to a fourth-string quarterback in the playoffs to Miami last year. They don't set expectations at the fact that Josh Allen cannot play consistently great football.
Well, they want to win the AFC.
I get it.
What's wrong with that as an expectation?
Well, the expectation is that they're going to win. The expectation is that they're favorites. And the expectation is that we have everything we need to win a Super Bowl this year, when clearly they haven't. They've put unnecessary expectations on themselves. They have done that to themselves. They need to go out and focus on game to game and just winning a playoff game. And I'll tell you the biggest loss of all. Me and you's favorite coach recently, Brian Daboll. That guy is clearly being missed. All right. What he's done to the Giants and turning around that offense, taking them to the playoffs, and the offensive step back that the Bills seem to have taken looks like it's missed. So I think that Brian Daboll combined with expectations being too high or just set too early before they've done anything seem to be the problem here.
I mean, they're trying to get Allen help. I can't blame Allen. He's second in the NFL in total yards and touchdowns behind Mahomes. You can't blame him. Yes, he's had some moments. He did lead the league in turnovers. He had 14 interception and 5 fumbles lost. So he's got to clean that up. But overall, man, this guy's one of the best. He's 27. He can run the ball. And, they put some pieces around him. They went to the draft and got Kincaid from Utah, 25th overall as a tight end. He'll be blocking and catching passes. They got one of the top offensive guards from Florida, 59th overall. So those are their top 2 picks to try to shore up that offense and help out Allen. Allen's trying to get this thing done. Yeah. I like the fact that they're putting pieces around him.
Yeah, they're trying. I agree with you. I just think let's reset here. I think they missed their window a little bit. They've lost some big names to free agency. They clearly are having some issues with the offense and team chemistry, and they might have missed their window. And hey, this is what happens when you're going to be a long tenured quarterback. Tom Brady went through phases of this stuff, and that's what's going to happen. You had your window 4 to 5 years. Now you got to reset expectations and do this thing all over again.
Yeah, well, I like your idea of taking it game to game. They're going to have to do that, man, because they've got to get this on track, and it does start game to game. You're right. They're going to start off with the Jets. It's not going to be easy. The first week of the season, they're at the Jets. Well, that's going to be a big one, Team Money. This division is going to be crazy. In the old days, it was the Patriots and Tom Brady just holding everybody out in this division, and now it's completely wide open. This first game with the Jets, that's going to be telling.
Yeah, it will be. It'll be interesting.
Hey, we hope you're loving the Father, Son, and Holy Sport NFL show, everybody. If you're interested in sponsoring our next show, reach out to us. We appreciate your support. We love telling all of our fans about your company. If you want us to put you on as a sponsor, let's do it, man. Look for all of our segments and clips on all the social platforms at Father, Son, and Holy Sport. Check out our website, fathersonandholysport.com. On behalf of Team Money, I'm G-Man. See you next week.
Peace.